Yeah, it's the post-qualifying show of Hungarian, and myself, Mustafa, Kule Williams, and Mr. Johnny will be discussing what it was a breathtaking whole lap by Charles Leclerc. You guys are welcome to the show.
It was a welcome. It was a breathtaking P13 or 14 or whatever by Hamilton.
Real breathtaking.
I guess maybe what's his name will be smiling. I was joking about it earlier. Vassir. He said, "That's the race. I told you it was not the car. It was not the car. It was Hamilton. Hamilton said it was the Bramble brakes. It's not the Bramble brakes." Okay, but let's be real. So Hamilton, before we talk about the brilliant Leclerc, you have to juxtapose that with Hamilton out in Q2. Looked really down. When they asked him, is it the car? He said, "No, it's just me. I'm useless." In the past, I've just count Hamilton. I won't say he's useless, but I say he's got a lot of problems. What were you saying before, Mr. Johnny, about what did you notice that he was sitting for too long and didn't get enough laps, not qualifying laps here?
Yeah, I mean, he knew he was. He said, I'm useless because he was in the pit lane when he had 9 minutes left, 8 minutes left to the end of the second quali. He was still sitting in the pit lane. I don't know what he was doing there. He should have used that time to
Was he
do
worried
some.
about traffic?
Everybody was even in the pit lane. Everybody was actually in the pit lane, but
Yeah.
still, you had that time. You had the chance to. You had the whole place was free. Everybody, everything was free. You could have just taken the opportunity, just change your tires, do something. You know, he waited until 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Then you do your. Then you go. You have to do your formation. I mean your scrub lap. Then you go in, leaving him only one lap. Just time for just one lap to make one change, one
He
something.
doesn't have confidence and he's overthinking it. Like Leclerc. Leclerc doesn't really know how he won or qualifying, but he just went out there and did it. Hamilton is
When
overthinking, writing letters
when
to the team. Go ahead. Yeah.
when Leclerc was qualifying, he was struggling to even qualify for the second
Yeah.
one. He was on the curbs, he was slamming the curbs like mad. But Hamilton
Yeah.
was just taking it easy, like that. Leclerc would.
He was pushing it. And I noticed that Piastri was going hard on the curbs too. And Norris was a little bit more relaxed. But my thing is that Hamilton is one thing to go relaxed, but you still have to go fast when you're relaxed. So there's a lot of things. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yeah, I agree with Johnny. I don't think that it was the inability to go fast that cost Hamilton. It was just poor qualifying. What do we call it? We can't call it racecraft, but qualification
Ethics.
craft. Poor qualification craft. I don't know what the English is for that. I'm sure there is a
Yeah.
far better description for it because he did not give himself laps in Q2. I saw him do one lap, get a time, go back in, come out, do a fast lap, and then that was it. He was out. It just looked like he didn't give himself a chance. And I actually watched P1 on Friday, and I watched the practices, some of the practices today. The Ferrari is fast. There's nothing wrong with that Ferrari. There's nothing wrong with the car, nothing wrong with the driver. I just think there's just a bit too much sawdust in the brain and not enough stardust in
Yeah,
the team. That's
but
a
not only
team
that, but
problem.
Leclerc struggled with that car too. And that car, let me tell you, they've just shown some stats. The car tends to do well in free practices. It even does well in Q1, and then all of a sudden it drops off. I don't know what it is. It's
It's a
maybe
team problem. I don't know why they're treating him so badly. I
maybe the
hope it's not because
yeah.
of the way
But
he
one thing I noticed
looks.
about Hamilton, let's be clear. Hamilton lost out to Bortoleto, a rookie in a slower car,
He
the
lost out to a
South.
lot of people. He lost out to the Toro Rossos.
Yeah, in slower
Lost out
cars.
to Aston
And my
Martin.
view is that he's stuck in his head. He's tentative, and I don't think he feels comfortable in these ground effects cars. I don't think. I think he misses those cars he had during his heyday, where you could brake hard and late and push the car around. I just don't think he's comfortable. And on top of that, he was in an unstable car in Mercedes, which wasn't good. Then he came to Ferrari, which every week it's a different car. It's a schizophrenic car. So he hasn't gotten into a groove. At least with Piastri, I mean, at least with Leclerc. Leclerc just says, "Okay, give me any car and I'll drive." And Leclerc has been with the team for 7, 8 years. So even though the car is mercurial and temperamental and changes from week to week, Leclerc still has a better connection to the car. So I think it's a combination of him not being able to drive these low cars that are low to the ground, that are mercurial. Then it's also the fact that he hasn't had a stable car for 3 years now. He keeps
I
on
actually
having
think
it. Even Mercedes, he hasn't had a stable car. And on top of that, he's getting older and less focused. And I think he was cold. It's like trying to run 100 meters without warming up. What were you going to say?
I actually think it's a team. I'm not sure I totally agree with you
Yeah,
on this. I think that
Leclerc
he's
came
fast enough.
Leclerc
It's
came
his
P1.
team that's killing him because he
Leclerc
didn't
has
do
had
enough laps in Q2.
Leclerc has had 3 or 4 podiums this year. He came P1 today. So there's another variable. What's the difference? Why is Leclerc doing well and Hamilton not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The team problem. And the other
But
times when he's done
Hamilton
better,
problem.
he's done better earlier.
But we
But
can't
what
blame it
really
only on the team, because
sorry?
if it's a team problem, why is Piastri one?
The reason, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He's having a consistency. He's having a teamwork issue because the especially for this race, this qualifiers. Now he's not been doing as well, and he's the highest ranking racer who's not got a podium. So he has actually been finishing consistently well, but he's not doing well at the top end. And the problem that he's having is a team communication problem. I think that he's got that car nailed down because he's shown some speed in the practices and showing that he's fast enough.
Here's why I don't think so. George, he has good race pace. George Russell whipped him last year in qualifying over 1 lap, and now Leclerc is whipping him in qualifying again. I think he has a problem with qualifying because with qualifying you have to push it to the limit. At least in the race, he can massage his tire and he can use racecraft. But I think he has a problem over 1 lap when you have to go all out. The same thing with Norris, who can't beat his teammate, who can do well in every round until Q3. I think that's what it has. I just don't think he can handle the pressures of qualifying. I don't think it's a team thing.
I agree. I just blame the team. I blame the team more than him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What about you? What's your thought, Afolabi? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both because if you look at the way it has been happening, at the beginning of the season, basically they were trying to get the car to adapt to Hamilton. And it almost, in fact, it cost them a double disqualification. The ride height in the plank wear stuff. And then I think they shifted their focus from that and they just basically said, Hamilton, you have to find a way to drive this car properly. But if you look at his performances, they have been very inconsistent. And this qualifying thing seems to be his own problem because if you look at the way the Ferrari car was in Q2, you never have imagined the change in trajectory in Q3. I mean, it was not as fast in Q2.
Because of the wind. Because of the wind.
Yes, because of the wind speed and the drop in temperature. I agree. But even the driver, Leclerc, was able to adapt to that situation better. You know, and if you look at
Hamilton didn't have a choice. He didn't have a chance because he didn't jump to Q3.
Yes, I know. What I'm trying to say is that these conditions have not been consistent, but the driver himself has not been consistent too. So he can't keep blaming the car.
And we have to remember Hamilton locked out twice last week at Belgian Grand Prix. He's never done that before. He's getting less and less comfortable with the rear end of the car.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to dare everyone. Hamilton is going to finish in the top 5 in the race because he's fast and the car is fast. And the reason he had a problem was with his team in qualifiers. He's going to finish in the top 5.
No. Here's why I would argue. He may do well in the race. He may do well in the race because you're comparing two different things. Race pace is a separate category for 1 lap. Hamilton does not do well in qualifying anyhow.
No, but even at that, I tend to disagree with Kole in the sense that this is Hungary. Apart from Monaco and Azerbaijan, Hungary is not for anything that they call it Monaco with walls, really. So it's a very circuitous. Overtaking is unforgiving at this track. It won't be easy, really. It won't be easy. And I think the race is Leclerc's to lose now because of his.
If you look at Hamilton, for Hamilton to say I'm useless, and the way he looked, this is psychological. He's out.
This is a very circuitous track, just like
I think he was frustrated not getting enough laps in that Q2. I think it was frustration.
How many times has he talked bad about himself in the last 2 years now? Last year he said he was.
I think this one was the number of laps he had, not so much the car wasn't fast. That's what I'm saying. He didn't get his iron on time to really show what he could do with that
Yeah,
car.
but you know what? Then that he has nobody to blame but himself because guys like Piastri and especially Verstappen, they go out early. Sometimes they go out in traffic. They get it done. He's losing a psychological edge. What's your thought, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm still steaming, but I was about to, actually agree with Kunle that Hamilton will come fifth, but then, Afolabi made a good point that this is like
That track is difficult.
Monaco, but I still think that Hamilton will still, this might, make him
He
be a
might come
driver,
sixth, sixth or
He's
seventh.
going to
Yeah.
he's going to come out and drive. He'll have to drive. He'll have to really do some drive, unless he's going to look very, very stupid at the end of the race tomorrow. He
Yeah.
will really
So
have to do
let's move
some
on.
driving.
Before we talk about the
But
main thing, let's move on.
disturbingly, I've seen the cars not really go up the track when they start low down like that. In the last 2 or 3 races, those fast cars, they struggle to go up the race lines for a while now. It's quite disturbing.
A
So
lot of these
I'm
guys,
being a bit optimistic. I'm gambling a
you
lot
got
to
to
say
remember,
he finishes top 5, but I think he
uh,
can.
Aston Martin is doing fantastic. Haja's doing fantastic. Everybody's
Yeah.
doing well. So it's going to be
Toro
very
Rossos
difficult.
and Aston Martins are right up in the mix now
Yeah.
with
So,
Mercedes.
like I
This
said,
is a Mercedes track.
yeah, and Mercedes, they had some. Russell did well. So let's talk about what happened. So that car, the weather got colder. But I don't care, even with the weather colder and the wind, it's proven time and time again. Both Piastri and Norris are fast car merchants. They have a fast car that can do everything for them. Leclerc had to do basically like Verstappen. Leclerc, what he did was he carried more speed into the corners, a lot more speed, and was able to handle it. Whereas he had a lot. Whereas McLaren and those guys, once again, they were just trying to depend on the car and hope that because Sector 3 is very slow speed, that Leclerc would slow down. It didn't happen because the track wasn't as cold, wasn't as hot, and also I think there might have been a headwind, so the setup for Leclerc had less downforce. That might have helped him. But once again, these guys are getting out qualified by super drivers, guys like Verstappen and Leclerc, who can pull off miracle laps. I'll say it again. Those guys, that car is wasted on both of them, but it specifically is wasted on Norris. Norris has an advantage over Piastri on this track. And once again, he lost to Piastri. That's the real main race. Forget about Leclerc. Even if Leclerc wins tomorrow, he's not going to win the title. Norris dropped another qualifying to Piastri on the type of track he likes. What are your thoughts about that, Afolabi? And also on the fact that Leclerc outdrove both of them by, once again, taking more speed than you should be able to take coming into a corner and getting better exit speed. He was gaining a 600th of a second advantage over them on the straights. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, basically, you are right. There was a sharp drop in temperature by over 25 degrees between Q2 and Q3. And like you rightly mentioned, there were headwinds, and Ferrari basically adapted better to cooler conditions than McLaren. The McLaren setup was very aero sensitive, so it suffered a lot. Leclerc was able to adjust more effectively. And if you look at Leclerc, he reported some balance issues in Q1 and Q2, but was able to find his grip and rhythm again in the final run of quarter 3. So it was a flawless drive, but it wasn't easy, and it was especially better at sectors 2 and 3. I think it was very close between him and Piastri. Really, if you look at the time analysis and graphs, it was very close.
What about Norris? What's wrong with Norris? That's supposed to be his track. Norris was coming first all practices and everything. What's wrong with Norris, man? And it's close. He lost close, but it just seems like if he's going to be losing to Piastri on slow tracks, then he's finished because Piastri beats him on fast tracks. You see what I'm saying? What do you think of Falabi?
Yes, I agree with you.
And also, to be honest with you, Norris has better race pace than Piastri, so he should still be able to beat Piastri tomorrow. If Piastri beats him tomorrow, it's going to be a big blow for him. He has better race pace, but it's going to be difficult to pass because to me, Norris should be able to pass Piastri.
Psychologically, it's going to be a low for him tomorrow.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah.
Well, man, I think that's that, especially at the start. I think what's going to happen there, you see, Norris is going to be behind. Leclerc.
Oh, Leclerc.
Yeah,
okay.
He's going to be behind Leclerc. Yeah.
You're right behind him.
That it's going to be like this is how, as in, like first, second, third.
He's gonna
So
crash.
he's going to check his well wait, wait, it's going to depend on slipstream from Leclerc, and then probably get it. But then again, that's going to cause wahala. I think three of them are going to crash at the beginning.
Yeah, and you know that Norris is good for overtaking late in the race, but he makes a lot of mistakes at starts. I've never actually seen Norris have a good start or pass somebody or do something cheeky to somebody at start. You get my point?
I think the start is there's going to be like some kind of crash at the beginning, because I
And
think
if Norris is
Leclerc
careful,
is going to get in the way.
you to watch out for Alonso, who's fifth, and Stroll. Alonso and Stroll are
Yeah, their cars are coming up, man. So they might
man.
just mop up.
I
They might
still
just mop
feel
up at.
I still feel this is Leclerc's race to lose, and my reasons are simple. He seems to dominate at tracks like this, especially when he qualifies at pole.
Monaco.
Yes, Monaco 2021, finished ahead of Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. If you look at also Monaco 2022 and Baku in 2021, he knows how to navigate tight circuitous circuits. So it's not going to be easy. And then the fact that he
Monaco
has
last year
two
too.
McLarens behind him,
Yeah.
while Piastri is trying to defend against Norris, he's trying to overtake. Like I think he plays into
I get you.
hands.
They'll
It's a
be
perfect
busy.
scenario
They'll
for
be busy with themselves.
That shit is crazy, man. It's crazy. What are your thoughts, Kume? Yeah.
The start of the race is going to be quite crazy because somehow the faster cars did not qualify well and the slower cars are in front in a track where corner one is so crucial. There is likely to be some yellow flags and red flags early on in the
There will
race.
be.
And there's going to be a musical chairs. I do believe that that's going to happen. Some cars that started well will gain advantage, and there's going to be some shocking DNFs, I think, in that first corner. I see Piastri. You see, the thing is that everything that every advantage that Norris has over Piastri is closing the gap on those advantages. He's not improving. I mean, okay, he's better at some things than Norris, and that's just stayed that like that. But the things where Norris is better, racecraft. Piastri's racecraft is improving with every race. He's doing better even
in qualifying.
Norris.
He's improving in qualifying compared to last season.
He's younger.
Johnny, did you notice? Mr. John, did you notice that?
He's beginning to look like his ceiling is going to be higher than that of Norris.
Yeah, and it's only a third year. The guy is scary.
And it's looking like Piastri could eventually appear to become the more talented driver in every way than Norris. Not yet, but he's catching him. He's on his way up.
Very quickly.
Not on his way down. He's at his peak. But I don't see Norris lifting his game in response to Piastri lifting his game.
No. Mr. John, yeah, I know, I agree. Did you guys see, Mr. John, did you notice that Piastri is taking more of the curve than Norris? That's dangerous. That means Piastri's pushing it now more to the limit. He's almost going into the gravel on those corners. That's very dangerous because if you do that, you can mess up. So it's showing you that Piastri's more aggressive than Norris. Norris takes less of the curve. Same thing with Hamilton. Hamilton takes less of the curve, which should be a better idea. But when you take more of the curve, you get more grip. But the problem is that you can end up crashing. Did you notice that? And in fact, Piastri was actually a little bit unstable, but he was going so fast. Like he's pushing it to the limits where he's making some slight mistakes. But because he's pushing it so far, the other guys are driving too safely. Norris is driving too safely. What do you think, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah, both of them, Norris and Leclerc, they were really taking chunks out of the curb. They were really, really pushing it to the limit. Yeah, So I don't know how that will be throughout the whole race. How that is going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen during that race. That's just for qualifying in that race. Okay. But you never know if it's close. I can see, and the thing we're noticing the difference between Piastri and Norris now. Piastri takes more risk. He doesn't. It's all or nothing for Piastri. He doesn't care if he crashes. Remember how he went up onto Norris's tail in the rain last week?
In the rain, yeah.
Committed himself to that pass. That pass could have gone badly, and he would have lost all his points. But he doesn't care because the idea is that risk could be failure or victory. Whereas Norris is trying to say, let me not fail. But I may not have. Norris he doesn't want to commit. It's all or nothing, especially in a competition like this. We've seen all or nothing. Prost versus what's his name? Senna. All or nothing. If you crash, don't worry. Give it your best. What are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah. Piastri probably wants it more than Norris. Norris thinks he wants it, I think. But I think Norris is showing that he's more more thirsty for it. But still, I don't know. My favorite is still Norris, Sha, so
Oh yeah,
I
but
still
let me
put
give
I
you a
choose
quote Norris
Stanley.
made. Norris made a quote. He said that he's the best driver at not getting into an accident. Remember he said that last year? Remember he said that? That shows you his mentality. It means that he's saying that because he's cautious, he can
You
win
rather
because
be
he'll never.
careful than
Yeah.
Is it saying
I
because
mean,
he's
that's like
cautious or because he's more precise?
no. He's cautious and precise. It's not just precision, but here's the thing: his precision, he's only precise because he's not pushing it to the limit. Because we see what happens to him on high-speed tracks where you have to push it to the limit. He has less precision. Have you noticed that?
Caution suggests slowness and weakness. That's why I say
No,
precision
no,
as
no, no.
opposed to
What I mean
caution.
by cautious is that he doesn't take risks. Like for example, he won't. If he has a chance, he's not going to go in rain behind somebody's back to try to pass them. That's cautious. That doesn't mean slow. It means that it's not that he's slow. It's that he's not going to take a risk to try to pass somebody in a situation that's there's a 30% chance he could crash. Whereas Piastri is kamikaze. Fuck that. If I crash, I crash. And actually, Piastri is more precise because I've seen Piastri do this several times. Remember when he passed Leclerc in Hungary 2 years last year? He passes people through tiny. Remember when he passed? I think it was in where's that race that has a wall? Was it Baku? And he was 1 inch from the wall. Remember that, Mr.
that's
Johnny?
Canada.
Canada. He was one
Oh,
inch from the
Canada.
wall. Yeah, that's what I mean by not cautious. He was 1 inch from the wall, and he knew he was 1 inch. It wasn't that he was error, and he jumped in ahead of Leclerc, 1 inch from the wall. Norris would never do that. He'd be like, "No, that's too risky. Let me wait." But if you don't pass Leclerc on the first lap, you're not going to pass him later.
Verstappen would take that risk.
Oh yeah, and so that's why I say Norris is cautious. And then when he finally decides to take a risk, he crashes. Remember when he went into remember when he crashed against Piastri? Remember that?
Yeah.
It needs a lot of mental strength to get past that precision overtake. And I don't think Norris has that.
He doesn't
And I
have that.
think Piastri has that precision overtake. Norris doesn't have that.
No,
Norris needs
has
to
the
be
precision
through
on
the
corners.
faster car or in the pits or with plenty of space with DRS. But he can't pass you on those high risk overtakes. Piastri and Verstappen can do those. Hamilton has done that sort of thing in the past. And because Piastri is showing that, and he's showing this kind of ability that Norris doesn't have, that's why I'm going to think Piastri has a higher talent ceiling than Norris ultimately.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly. And we have to remember Piastri has won. He won FP2. He won an F2 for Formula 2. Won Formula 3. So maybe we're underrating just how much talent he has. And we have to remember this is just his third year. It took Verstappen 7 years before he won. But also we have to say Piastri is very fortunate that he's driving in a perfect car. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of Falabi here?
Yeah, absolutely. And what happened last week in Belgium is just a classic case of the difference between Piastri and Norris. If the roles were reversed, Norris would never have had the balls to attempt that kind of pass. And that's the difference between winning a race and winning a championship. And that's why I feel it will take longer for Norris to ever win a championship if he ever does. Because
If he doesn't win it
Piastri,
this year,
yeah, Piastri just has the balls to do this kind of thing, and he always gets it done with precision. Norris doesn't have it in his locker. He's just the kind of driver he is. Maybe psychological, his mental, maybe his temperament. I don't know, but that's just the classic difference between both of them. And you would see
and even
tomorrow
I would
again.
say that Norris is precise on corners when he's ahead. So in other words, he knows how to take very good lines and stuff, but he's not good in battle situations. That's why they say he's not a good racer. Like maybe if there was one lap and there's no cars on the track, he's perfect. But even then, he's beginning to crumble in one lap performance because he's having problems with this McLaren car, which has too much grip in the front. So it's that a lot of things are happening with Norris. This is his best chance to win this year, but I don't see it happening. The only reason I don't see it happening is because Piastri has been so consistent all year.
Yeah.
And I think that consistency is going to pay off. Okay, last thoughts, Mr. Johnny and Kunle, before we go out. Yeah. All right, Tyler, we did 3 shows today, man. Is he there? Mr. Johnny, are you on mute?
Johnny, go ahead.
Yeah, he just muted himself.
So last thoughts. Yeah, I think there's going to be a crash at the beginning, and Alonso and the rest will come up. And I have a feeling that Hamilton might be very, very brave with his tires, go long, go hard. Go long, go hard, try to do something, like that. But apart from that, then if not, then maybe Norris wins, Piastri second, Leclerc
While Hamilton is driving, because he's an old man, he's like, man, I want some of Mr. Johnny and Moosey's AY. Let's get this race quickly now.
third.
But like those old guys, man. I do think Hamilton's mind is a little bit out of it these past couple of years. He's been more focused on his
On his brand.
Yeah. To win 7 titles, that takes a lot out of you, man. All right, what do you think?
Yeah, so I see this as looking like the revenge of the underdog with the Toro Rossos and the Aston Martins not getting the memo and finishing
I want to come
ahead of where they should be. And Bortoletto, I don't know what that one is doing so far up. I think he's lost. He will find his way down the field during the race. He's not going to finish. I don't even think Bortoletto is going to finish in the top 10 if he's lucky. He's not that fast. He just got lucky with 1 lap. It was very difficult qualifying. It's going to be a straightforward fight again between the 2 McLarens. Leclerc, the Ferrari doesn't have enough pace to stay ahead of those 2 McLarens. They're going to fight it out, assuming there's no crash that completely changes the story of the race. It's going to be a McLaren 1-2, and it's going to be a battle between Piastri and Norris. It's going to be a straightforward fight. I think 3rd place is going to be a fight between Russell and Leclerc. All these Aston Martins and Toro Rossos, like I said before, they just didn't get the memo. They don't belong where they are, and they will be found wanting when the race gets off in earnest on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's my call on the race.
Do you know what? Do you know what Lance Stroll said to Lance Stroll? Tomorrow, how are you going to do on the race? And Lance Stroll said,
I want to come first. Daddy, I want to come first.
That's the truth. There was a guy in our
class. No, yeah.
There was a guy in our class.
He now told his daddy got pissed off. Now, what was this? He now said, Daddy, I want to come first. And they beat him.
There's no way you can come fast. He said, Daddy, I want to come fast. All right, guys.
Captain Zero.
Captain Zero. All right, taking us out of Wallaby.
Okay, it's been another brilliant post-qualifying show. We've been discussing what happened at Hungary, and tomorrow is the race. I guess we'll be back again tomorrow from Mustafa, myself, Mr. Johnny, and Kule. It's bye for now.
Nice one, man. I'm tired, man. We did the show today. This is crazy.
Guys.
Yeah.